Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410. Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
And here we are. Hi, I'm Dino, and we're on Dino's Night Out. That great song that you just heard, I have in the studio today, Patti. That's right. He was the creator, the producer, the maker of that cool little song. So I want to introduce right now. Hey, Patti, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. That's right. The name's Patti, kind of like Kramer, just one name.
That's all.
Just go by Patti.
That's the way to do it. Now, we all know who you are, and we all know what you do. And it's kind of cool what you do, actually. You know, you do websites, you're a creator digitally, you do all kinds of just amazing stuff, right?
Yeah, anywhere where in the Venn diagram where technology and art kind of cross, that's my sweet spot right there,
Yeah,
right
kinda
where
like the two fingers. When
yeah,
they touch,
right. I kind of like making those two things work together. And what's nice is we're in a pretty cool era right now where there are a lot of tools to help you do a lot of cool creative things. So I'm loving every second of it.
I love it. All right, so what we're going to do is, before we talk about Lost Hits Radio, which is what Patti has created, we want to sit here and talk very quickly about Ron Onesti. That's right, that's the Arcada Theater, Ron Onesti at 105 East Main Street. He maintains and is our show sponsor each and every Dino's Night Out. So what they have going on the 5th, that's this Friday at 8 o'clock, the 8 o'clock show. Today is the 5th. And they have Wine and Roses with April Wine and Lita Ford. April Wine, if you don't know her, she's a Canadian rock band. She formed in 1969 and based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's the other side of the world for cray eye. And the band enjoyed international success in the 1970s and 80s, releasing more than 20 albums since 1971, with a mega hit, Just Between You and Me. And then one that I remember, Lita Ford. Lita Ford was just totally amazing. She got her big break when she did with Ozzy Osbourne. But Lita Ford's an English-born American guitarist and vocalist, songwriter. She was the lead guitarist for all-female rock bands, the Runaways in the late 1970s, before embarking again on her own success, metal solo career that hit its peak in the late 1980s, the 1989 single, Close My Eyes Forever, a duet with Ozzy Osbourne. And it remains Ford's most successful song. I remember Kiss Me Deadly. That's a good song, too. So if you have a chance, look her up. Kiss Me Deadly, Lita Ford. Good songs. Okay, and then the Arcada on Saturday, which is the 6th, those of you playing the home game, directly after the 5th, we've got the Gilmore Project.
Nice.
And the Gilmore Project is an all-star 5-piece featuring veterans of CSN, Bob Weir, Phil Lesh and Friends, Allman Belts Band, and more. They re-image Pink Floyd and David Gilmour classics with deep improvisation. I like that for a big word. I'm getting there. Surprising covers and original multimedia design. Celebrated across North America, their performances transcended typical tribute bands, delivering authentic, exploratory shows live streamed worldwide. So you don't want to miss it. We've got April Wine and Lita Ford And then we've got the Gilmore Project, Saturday and Sunday, and that's over at the Arcata Theater. So let's get to our main guest. We're going to talk to uh, Patty over here, and I'm going to show another picture. Those of you watching on the YouTube, and we've got the picture live, and it's Lost Hits Radio. And so you can find it on the youtube.com. It's on Spotify. It's on any social media platform. And you would just put Lost Hits Radio, and it'll just come popping right up. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I want to hear, how did this all happen, Michael? Tell us all about it.
Oh, Dino, what a great long story this is. But I'll keep it short. I'll get to the point here. So, me and my dad talk about music all the time. My dad's a huge music lover, and same thing with my grandfather. He was a huge music lover too, and he was always into the big band stuff from the 40s. The Glenn Miller Orchestra, Duke Ellington,
The good
that
stuff.
kind of vibe. And we were talking one time about how sad it is that it's just that music is just kind of gone, and a lot of that golden era music is gone. Yeah, you can go back, you can listen to the the records and listen to the old versions of the songs, but a new Glenn Miller song is not going to be coming out anytime soon for obvious reasons. And we always joked about like, man, like wouldn't it be great if like that music would come back, or there was a way to hear like a new big band song for the first time. And so I always thought about that concept of, yeah, it's kind of sad. And well, we got the records, we got the classics. That's great. And there's some artists out there that try to keep that sound alive, like in the crooner space. You've got like Michael Bublé, and there are some artists that are trying to do that. But think about the complications, the probabilities of finding enough people who play brass instruments, clarinets, trombones, trumpets, saxophones,
Oh, with the
drums,
full accompaniment
the
that they
full
used to
thing.
have.
Yeah,
Oh my
those
gosh.
huge stages.
Wasn't
of
that
musicians.
something?
It was
Yeah.
something to see. And the probability of finding that many people to do that often, regularly, there's a reason why that no longer exists anymore, because
And how are you going
it's
to pay
hard to
them?
do that.
That's the other
How do you,
piece.
that's the question. How
Yeah.
do you bring it back? So you have that conversation happening over here, and I was reminiscing about when I was younger. My mom, she always had oldies 104.3 on the radio in the car. With Dick Biondi, oldies 104.3. So I, like growing up, I would hear these songs come on the radio, and this is back in like the 80s. I was a kid. And driving around, have a very specific
wasn't.
memory.
Go
He
ahead.
got me beat by a couple decades
That's
here.
okay. Don't worry.
Driving around, and I have a distinct memory of driving back from soccer practice when I was like 7, and this song comes on the radio. Is "This Diamond Ring" by Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this is a great song. Like, this diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore. So I'm like, man, what is this? My mom was like, oh, this diamond ring. It's an old song. Like, this is the oldies. I'm like, what do you mean the oldies? And like, well, this is music from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And my kid brain being like, oh, like I'm just hearing this for the first time. I thought that was something recent.
And when she said long time ago, you're only talking back then. If you're
Yeah,
speaking the
like
80s,
what the 90s are today to us.
30 years, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
that was a long time.
And
But go
then
ahead.
she would flip over to like, and we would listen to like other stuff too. You go normal radio at the time, you'd hear like, Aha, Take on Me, and
Yeah,
Madonna.
yeah.
So we had all that too. But something about the sound of those old songs from the 40s, the 50s, the early 60s, that early Motown sound, crooners, big band, like it just has it makes me feel good. It's just good, feel good music.
Foot tapping.
100%. And I was like,
you'd hear the lyrics, you hear what they're saying, and you could sing along with it.
yeah. It just always made me feel good to listen to oldies. And I was like, oh man, how do we bring that back? And so during COVID, I was living down in Tennessee, and I had a home office studio, and I would just write these songs of like, what man, I'm a guitar player and musician. I do stuff like that as well. And I was like, I'm gonna start writing some songs that sound like they're from the olden days. Just me on a guitar in my office hanging out. I would record them and never release them, just kind of keep them to myself. And in the last couple of years, these new AI tools have been coming out that allow you to start using them to do music production.
Mhm.
I am not sponsored by any of these softwares, but I'm going to give you one of my favorite tools. There's a tool called Kits AI, which is an AI that allows you to sing in your own voice and then allows you to swap your voice with somebody else. Now, Dino, I can sing a little bit. I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but I can carry a tune. But my voice, I'm never going to sound like Frank Sinatra. Like I'm
No,
never
but
going to
you've been at different parties, and I've hosted a Toys for Tots event, and you've done it 2 years for us. You sing great with your folk guitar or I'm sorry, what do you call it? Acoustic guitar.
for
sorry.
sure. Yeah.
And no, I don't sell yourself short. You got a great voice.
I
think you could do
appreciate
a
that.
good-
I
Yeah,
appreciate that. And I was
sincere.
like, but it's like I can sing my style of music, but I can't sing. I can't sing like Sinatra. But now I can, because now with these tools, I can create voices that sound like the voice I'm hearing in my head. So I started playing around with this concept of, can I actually bring some of this stuff back to life? And then there's some other tools that have come out recently where I can actually record a track in my home studio with guitars and the instruments that I have, and then I can use AI to help enhance the production to kind of really hone in on that craft.
Add an
So
extra horn or an
and
extra
horns.
section.
The
Yeah.
one program I use, I can use my guitar to play a part, and I
Oh,
can change that guitar line into a saxophone note. One of the songs I'm going to show you today actually is exactly that. It's me playing the saxophone line on a guitar and then swapping it out with the AI to be prompted and say, "Hey, take this line and turn it into a saxophone sound," and it does it. Now, the controversy here, is that a lot of people say, like, "Well, you're cheating. That's, you're not actually playing the saxophone." And my response to that would be that this is not a common thing that's happened in music throughout the decades, right? So,
right.
when MIDI came out, which is a type of something you use when you're using audio software, where I can play the piano, and if I play the piano into this DAW, digital audio workstation, I can then swap the piano sound to sound like a cello. And
Because it's
someone
done in layers.
yeah, it's electronic signals you're basically
Right.
taking, and then if I want to sound instead of a cello, I want to sound like an acoustic guitar with nylon strings. I can change the patch, I can change the sound of the instrument, and I don't think anybody's gonna sit there and say like, well, you don't actually play the cello, right? But I can make this sound like a cello. And it's kind of the same thing. And also, I remember when hip hop came out and like rap music came out, and people were doing samples, and people started pulling in samples, and we're like, well, you're not actually a musician. You're not writing those parts. It's like, all right, maybe you flipped a Stevie Wonder loop into something, but the creativity is still there. You're still actually accomplishing something very creative by repurposing and reimagining some of these tools. So I feel like AI is kind of this next frontier of music creation where we're going to see people who have creativity be able to actually have an outlet to kind of make the stuff come to life. So that's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming. My TED Talk on music production. But
No, that's okay. But I
yeah.
mean, it's the idea is that, like you said, you're not sitting alone. There's a lot of people that want to bring different genres of music back. And by doing what you're doing, yeah, okay. Are you actually singing a song from start to finish? No, but you are at the same time. You're just putting these enhancements. I've always said, you give me Tony Bennett or Frank Sinatra, even Dean Martin for that matter. But Dean didn't have the big accompaniment like everybody else did. He was natural. He was. That's why he's my
Funny
favorite.
comedian too. People forget
Oh,
about that.
he
His
was.
TV show was hilarious.
He started the vaudeville days, and that's where we got to start. But nonetheless, anybody that has that big orchestra behind him, even me, I can't sing, couldn't carry a note in a wet paper bag. So, I mean, you're going to sound good with that background. So, what you're doing is that you're adding the accompaniment, you're adding the, 8-piece horn section instead of just what you could do sitting here with one or two guys.
Yeah, and so where we landed with this is that I write the lyrics, I write the melodies, I do what I would call like the demo draft version of the production, and then I use all these new tools to make them come to life. And it's really just a hobby. And I started kind of creating these songs, and after a while, I started showing a couple of them to my father, who I was talking about earlier, where we had this conversation. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, check it out. I think I found a way to like make these sounds right again." And so I sent him a couple of tracks. I sent you some too, and my dad was like, "Yeah, that's that's pretty
That's
close.
right
Like
there.
that's
Yeah.
you're right
New
there."
words to
Yeah.
the old vibe, but different words that you created.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of came up with the idea. So Lost Hits Radio, new golden oldies. That's the idea. Is that these are songs you've never heard before, but it feels like you have because it's bringing back that 40s, 50s, 60s vibe to these tracks. And again, this is a hobby. I'm not trying to become some famous anything. I just like what I really like making these songs. A lot of people who I've shared them with seem to enjoy them. So let me find a way to kind of put these out to the world, and maybe somebody else will like them too. So if you do, head over to YouTube at Lost Hits Radio. You can stream both records. There's new Golden Oldies Volume 1 is out, and then I actually put together a Christmas record, if you can believe it, for the holidays.
I
So,
can because we played yours on Thanksgiving. We featured Patti for that hour right after the live broadcast. I was on from 6 to 12, And as soon as we immediately got off the air, we started playing your Christmas songs.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you gave us some great content. It was wonderful. So, okay, well, let's hear a little something.
Sure.
Before
So
we get to
this
the
first
bottom
song,
here.
this is the first song on New Golden Oldies Volume 1, song called Crazy Love. This is when I was talking about where I'm playing the saxophone part on a guitar through the production part of it. And this has a bit of a Motown feel to it.
And these are, we don't have to worry about copyright, any of this stuff.
All
Because these
mine.
are all created by you.
All mine.
That's
Yep.
great. Love
Ready?
it.
Here we go.
I can't sleep at night. I can't eat a bite. When you were mine, I was blind. And you had a way about you. Couldn't keep my hands off you. And now my world is crashing down. You're gone. And it's crazy. Oh, when I think about you, baby, I don't know what I did to deserve you. What I did to deserve you. What I did. You gave me that look, and you had me hooked. You don't know the half of it. When I saw you standing there, couldn't help but stop and stare. My heart went from bottom to bottom. Bam, you're gone, and it's crazy. Oh, when I think about you, baby, I don't know what I did to deserve you. What I did to deserve you. What I did. Ooh, what I did to deserve you. What I did. Ooh, to deserve you. What I did. What I did deserve you. What I did. What I did deserve you. What I did. What I did. What I did. What I did deserve. What I did.
Ah, how do you like that? That's what I did?
That's Crazy Love.
Crazy love.
Yeah, one of the
I-
first ones I did.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really awesome. I mean, that's your creation, your words, and you, I don't know, synthesized it up with this AI stuff and turned out to have this.
Yeah, make it
Oh
make
my
it
God.
come to life. So now the stuff that I've heard in my head, I'm starting to find a way to make it happen. And the great thing is that anybody can do this. These tools are open to everybody. You can go out there and if you have an idea, you can take an idea and you can actually find a way to bring it to life now, which is exciting. And again, like I have a background in music and I've been a musician almost my entire life. Started playing guitar when I was 10. You know, I've been in bands and I've played on records. I've done all that kind of stuff. But like now it's like this next era of music production that's coming is going to be really exciting. I'm really excited to see how people who are way more creative than I'll ever be can take these tools to just blow our mind musically. I'm looking forward to it.
So how'd you say that before? Songs you've heard? What'd you say?
It's new golden oldies, bringing back the sounds that you miss. So it sounds like it's a song you've never heard before,
That's
but it feels
Song
familiar.
you never heard,
Yeah.
right? But feels familiar. Wow, that's something. I love that one. What do you got next on there? Let's hear another one. I'm really
What kind of
digging
vibe you
this.
want, Dino? You want something
Huh?
big band? You want something doo wop? What kind of?
Well, we
vibe?
just had a little doo wop there. Let's go with big band.
Let's go big band.
Then we'll get to crooners later. You
All
have
right, this
some of
this
those?
is a funny song. So I wrote this song with my parents in mind. You know, my dad being a big lover of the crooner stuff. So this has kind of got that crooner vibe. It's about it's called "Happy to Be Getting Old." And my parents are retired and living the retired life. And I kind of wrote these lyrics with their stage of life in mind. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm glad we don't have the problems of young lovers. We've been around long enough to see how life goes. had our share of hard times and recoveries. I'm just happy to be getting old. I've been alive long enough to see miracles, things I didn't believe would ever come true. I'm old enough to not believe in fairy tales, but I'm young enough to still believe in you. I just know we'll always have each other, 'cause we've been around long enough to know the one thing you can count on is your lover. And I'm happy to be getting old. Happy to be getting old. Happy to be getting old. I'm just happy to be getting old. Happy to be getting old. Happy to be getting old. I'm just happy to be getting old. I'm glad we don't have the problems of young lovers. We've been around long enough to see how life goes. We've had our share of hard times and recoveries. I'm just happy to be getting old. I've been alive long enough to see miracles, things I didn't believe would ever come true. I'm old enough to not believe in fairy tales, but I'm young enough to still believe in you. I just know we'll always have each other, 'cause we've been around long enough to know the one thing you can count on is your lover. And I'm happy to be getting old.
Now that's a nice tribute. We got the playoff music, but that is great. You made that for your mother and father, mother and
they
father
were
and
the
mine.
inspiration behind that one.
Patty, they got to be happy about that one. Listen, you are right here, Studio 14, WRMN, Dino's Night Out. I got Patty in the studio, and he's got Lost Hits Radio. Any streaming platform that you have, you're going to be able to hear him on. So just click. If you want to go to YouTube, you want to go to Spotify, you want to go to X, Twitch, this, that, the other one, whatever that's out there. I don't even know all of them, but they're out there. And he has made some cool vinyl records as well. I mean, if you're interested in getting one of these, go to it. But all his music is out there. He puts it out there for everybody to listen to and enjoy. All right, you're listening to WRMN 1410. We are live in the studio right here with Pat. Catch you in just a few short moments.
Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now.
And we are back.
It's
Dino's Night Out. I got the creator of this great song that I just can't let not play. Patty. Patty's in the studio with me today, and we're talking about a lot of new things he's got going on. It's just Lost Hits Radios, what he's created. It's an awesome thing. It's songs, that you think you've heard, because it's the vibe of the past. And that's what we all want. Everybody, as you get older, and my guy over here, Patty's getting a little bit older. He's starting to feel that,
The leaves are starting to change.
Yeah,
You know
you know
in
what I mean?
September of my life, I think.
So we all want to hold a little bit of what we remember. And this came about a little bit like when he heard his first song, This Diamond Ring, Gary Lewis and the Playboys was driving with his mom in the car, and he heard that song and said, "Wow, that's a neat song." Now this was back in the '80s when he was a young lad. So now, things take that shift, and now you're at that age like, well, look, I could do this. He is a performer. He does know how to compose music. He's got a good voice. He says he doesn't, but he does. But this is what he does. He's a creator, and he's sharing some great songs with us here today. I love him. I love all this stuff that you're doing here, Patty. I just think that it's the bomb.
Thanks. Yeah, and again, I can't say it enough that like this is all because of smarter people, way smarter than me, who are coming up with these tools that creative people can utilize to bring their vision and the songs they hear in their head to life. So, yeah, like I said, I am very excited for where production's going, and there's two sides of the aisle. There's one side that's weeping, gnashing of teeth, saying this is the end of music, and I'm kind of on the other side of the aisle that thinks it's like we're just going to a new era, kind of like when synthesizers came out, kind of like
Remember that?
when
The
auto
Moog-
tune
the
came
Moog
out, and
synthesizer. Remember Peter
yeah,
Frampton?
people were losing their minds. Like when
Yeah.
it just kind of goes in cycles like that. And I think we're heading into a new era where people who didn't have access to creativity before will be able to. So
I talk to Rita all the time, and Rita's like, "Oh, I just wish things were like it was before." So the first question I ask, and usually people that are a couple of years, I always ask them, "Well, do you have air conditioner in your house?" "Well, yeah." "Do you drive a car?" "Well, yeah." I says, "Well, back when you were a kid, they didn't have fancy cars. They didn't have air conditioners in houses. They didn't have furnaces in houses. It was fireplaces. So do you want to embrace the technology and be a part of it, or let it pass you by, or live the old ways?" But you can't. Nobody wants to live that way. So I think it's cool, and I think there's a way to blend it all together, is what I'm saying about it. I don't want to put no artists out of work, yourself included. You're a performer. So we don't want to do that. But at the same time, you're able to cut a few steps and come out with something dynamic. And one of the things, how cool was it? Happy to be getting old. I mean, and you made that just with your mother and father in mind.
yeah,
So that you have that's timeless now. That's going to be a Patty tradition to be played all the time.
hopefully
Right?
that's the idea.
That's
the idea.
exactly. So anybody has this ability. If you don't, just get a hold of Patty over here, and you can find him anywhere. Lost Hits Radio, which is everywhere. Any platform you have, it's available. And what I did pull up right now, again, those of you on the YouTube, this is the Christmas volume for Lost Hits Radio, and he's got 14 pretty cool songs. Totals 39 minutes and 46 seconds. These were the ones that those of you listening on our station, you would have heard it on Thanksgiving. It was our gift from Patty to us. He says, "Come on, I'm going to let you guys have them." They're all like duty-free, royalty-free, because they're his songs. They're all original, so they're his songs. How neat is that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to talk him into playing a couple of these songs. Let's hit a Christmas one. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. And real quick, I just have to throw this out there too. So I found, speaking of finding companies that are doing really cool things, again, I am not sponsored by them, but hit me up, Elastic Audio, if you want me to. There's this great company called Elastic Stage that allows you to print vinyl on demand. So if you actually, I have listened to this on vinyl. These songs sound so great coming through the warmth with the crackle and the pop of a vinyl record player. So if you do want to have these things on vinyl, they are available. Both Volume 1 and Christmas Volume 1 are available. It does take a long time to get them. It takes about a month for them from the time you order it to the time you receive it. But that's because I think they're based out of the UK, and it's print on demand. So when you make the order for the vinyl, I mean, they cut the vinyl when you order it. So
But that's most Spotify things, right? It's all that print on demand.
It takes a while for it to, like Printful's another like a T-shirt on demand place. It
Yeah.
kind of takes a little bit longer, but I actually enjoy listening to this on vinyl because you get the pops.
Well,
and the
I've heard
clicks
it because you've let me play the song, and it does. It's got that little. It's not scratchy, but it's it's a vinyl record.
It makes it sound
You know,
that much
yeah.
more authentic.
It's just
That's
got
why I
that
like
deep,
it.
deep sound, right?
For sure.
I mean,
sure.
you could play things through this automation all day long, but there's nothing like the cut of a record.
Yeah, so all the
Deep cut.
vinyl nerds out there, feel free.
Yeah, there you
So
are.
this is the first song on the Christmas Volume 1 record. I was trying to get I was going for like a Elvis vibe, like Jerry Lee Lewis era kind of Christmas song. So this has got more of that. Elvis is probably more of the vibe you're gonna get from this one, but this is a song called "The Naughty List."
I'm on that one.
All the reindeer on the roof now, hear the sleigh bells ding ding dong. Here comes Santa with his ho 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 ho. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list. Oh yeah, he can't resist. She's sweeter than a peppermint twist. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list, on the. Cookies crumble, milk runs dry, stocking swinging low and high. Santa's laughing with his ho 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 ho. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list. Oh yeah, he can't resist. Sweeter than a peppermint twist. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list. Oh yeah, he can't resist. Sweeter than a peppermint twist. He likes it when Mrs. Claus is on the naughty list, on the naughty list, on the naughty list, on the naughty list.
Okay, that was another creation from Patti, and that's called the Naughty List. I almost feel like, I'm in a little studio. You know what I mean? I feel like, hey, this is Dean DeLaly. You're listening to Lost Hits Radio.
Lost Hits Radio,
Yeah.
WRMN 1410 AM.
It just has that, it does. It just has that real feel, but all the lyrics are completely different. And you'd swear you heard that song.
Yeah,
I
that's the
gotta
idea.
agree with you on that. You actually swear you've heard that song before, but we didn't.
And with the Christmas stuff, like, so I kind of put this together. I started making this stuff back in like September, October-ish. And I was like, when I look for Christmas music, I love the old, like, give me Bing Crosby. Give me the old Christmas music. Like that again, there's something about that sound, that genre that really makes you just feel good, just happy and joyful. And so I was like, I'll do the same
Good
thing.
times.
I can get a Christmas song. Let's take a crack at that. So
And when you think about some of those songs too, though, if I can like interject, they really weren't always good times, but the music made you feel.
For sure.
Because we were during wartime when most of those songs came out.
Sure.
I mean, wartime, real wartime. Not that these wars aren't real, but I'm talking about, thousands of men and women not coming home. And they still came out with these this music that they had that made everybody feel good. It just had that nice vibe to it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Which speaks to the power of music. That even if you think my grandfather is in World War II, and like you think about, like, you're right, the scale of that and how many people were affected by that, and that's why that's one of many reasons I love music, is that even if the whole world is at war, music can still help you feel a little bit better about what's going on.
Yeah, it has that. It puts you in that place. You've got songs that, as soon as you hear that first couple, the little riff, as soon as it starts the song, it brings you right to a time. Whether you're out with the guys, whether you're with your favorite girl, whether it was a breakup, whether it was a makeup, whether it was whatever it was, that song puts you there. I mean, there's so many. Gilbert O'Sullivan, when I hear him, in a little while from now, that song, it always makes me think of Wisconsin. We had a house out in Pell Lake since the 40s. It was a big thing. The Italians all did it.
For sure.
You remember. So we had a place in Pell Lake, which was 8 miles away from Lake Geneva. So that was the era. It was like your 60s. And, it was just, for my time, late 50s, 60s era and all that music. And like, wow, Doobie Brothers reminds me again of going to Wisconsin. And it was just a neat time. Music has that way of doing it. So let's stay out of our memories. Let's go into these new memories that you're making. You're creating new memories. And I can't get over happy to be getting old. You made that for your mom and dad.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, they're retired now, and they're in their golden years. And I was like, you know what? There's something to be celebrated there. That's not not everyone gets a chance to do that. So I was trying to find a way to encapsulate that with music.
And your dad, I knew from the police department.
Yeah.
Your dad was police chief for Village of Berkeley. Was
Correct.
it town or village? I think it was
Yeah,
a village.
Village.
Yeah, Village of Berkeley. Police chief for many, many years over there. Did a great job. Back in the days when it was, I guess you could say, almost fun to be a police officer. It was more rewarding, I'll tell you that. These officers today, they have a rough go at it. So let's hear another song. What do you want to play?
Well, let me pick something kind of
We got
random
like
here.
a Dean Martin style. Like everything in a
Dean Martin style.
vibe.
Let me see. Dean Martin, Christmassy. Yeah, I do. I got one for you.
There we go.
So this one's called Holiday Cheer, and the way this one started, I was thinking like okay, if there was gonna be a party, a Christmas party, and there's gonna be like a big band, crooner band, and everyone was kind of a few drinks deep, and everyone's getting out to the dance floor, like what would be the song that would get people out to dance and like go hard at the paint on celebrating Christmas? And I kind of came up with this one. It's called Holiday Cheer.
Okay.
This year's been a slow burn, but lately it's taken a turn. Holiday cheer's gonna save us all. I don't know why, I don't know how. I guess we'll have to figure it out. But holiday cheer's gonna save us all. Save us all. Snow falls soft on the city tonight. Hearts are glowing in the firelight. With every song we're standing tall. I don't know why, I don't know how. I guess we'll have to figure it out. But holiday cheer's gonna save us all. Yeah, holiday cheer's gonna save us all. Under the mistletoe we'll find our way. With every jingle troubles fade away. The season's magic, it's a call. Don't know why, I don't know how. I guess we'll have to figure it out. But holiday cheer's gonna save us all. Yes, holiday cheer's gonna save us all. Cheers for that holiday cheer.
Ho, ho, ho. I love it. There you go. Yeah, that's you hit it there. That's a Dean Martin, Tony Bennett.
Yeah, it's got
Just
that vibe.
that great feel.
For sure.
I absolutely love that, man. I can't say enough about this. This is just totally awesome. I hope everybody's enjoying it. You want to call in real quick, 847-931-1410. Tell us what you think of this stuff that we're putting out there. 847-931-1410. We got Patti inside the studio. He's the creator of Dino's Night Out, Little Jingo, and some of the other jingles we have going on here. Definitely does a lot of voiceovers. He's got some great stuff, but specifically, we're talking today Lost Hits Radio. He's got volume 1 of the regular set, which show everybody on the camera there. Lost Hits a little higher. There you go. Lost Hits Radio, the new Golden Oldies, volume 1. And then we've already showed you, and we'll do it again. He's got the Christmas volume number 1 out. 14 songs on this. You can get this in vinyl, okay? So how much would you pay? Don't answer, because we're going to throw the next thing. No, it's not what this is about. It's about really opening everybody's eyes and ears to the technology that's out there. It's not all bad. You know, the talk is all this AI stuff lately, but without this AI, again, I'm going to go right back to happy to be getting old. How do you do that? How do you do something like that that's timeless now. That song is going to be in your family forever.
And if I from like an audio production standpoint, the amount of money it would have cost to find the musicians, pay the musicians, rent the studio space, to actually make that with real life instruments would have been astronomical comparatively. Like where I did this in my office by myself. So it makes it a lot quicker and a lot easier. And like I said, if you want to buy vinyl, absolutely. My hope is that if anybody's liking what they're hearing, that they go and listen to it. That's the cool thing about Spotify or iTunes Music. You can pay a monthly premium to get commercial free, but this stuff's out there for you to listen to. I just want people to enjoy it because I love this style of music. And I was like, man, if I love this kind of music, I'm willing to bet somebody else does too. And maybe they'll get some joy out of it and they'll dance to it, have a good time, throw the vinyl on Christmas Eve, listen to some music and just kind of enjoy the vibe of Lost Hits Radio.
And that's why, again, you have the vinyl available, but that's not your motive. You're already giving this music out there.
Mm-hmm.
You gave us the whole Christmas volume. We played on Thanksgiving Day. Thank you again.
For sure.
And that was the Christmas hits, Lost Hits Radio. 14 songs we played. And we're going to use them and we're going to blend them in some more because we're going to have every one of the show hosts, we're going to put a little something together. We did it last year, but we're going to do it even better this year.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy, use it, and hopefully it makes people kind of tap their head and get that holiday cheer going.
But you have this background, Michael. I mean, it's okay to say you work with the church and everything.
Sure.
It's too late. I already said it. But I mean, you have a talent. You've got that grace, voiceover voice. You've got a great vocal voice. I mean, just everything you do is boom, dead bang on. And I love it. I mean, I'm bragging about you because I think the world of you because I've been watching you and we've been friends for a long time now. And, and Michael does a lot of our stuff here. He does our social media, and we're going to be making another transition so that we can even hit better areas than we've been hitting. So it's all about knowing how this system works so that we could give a better product to everybody that's out there listening.
For sure.
We love the fact you listen to AM radio. AM 1410, WRMN has been here 75 years, 1949. That's a long time, and it's something to be proud of. I can't take all the accolades for it. Only here a little over a year, okay? Me and Dennis, only a little over a year and a half, I guess is what it boils down to. But the point is, it's something that we're rebirthing, if that be the word, to make sure that this does stick around for even longer. We're showing regard and respect to what was, and we're going to use the tools that are there and the enhancements that are given to all of us to make it that much better. And how cool. I mean, these are all your lyrics. What's one more song? Because I'm talking us to death over here, and I'm going to run out of time.
Yeah, this is a song called A Silent Night, and it's just kind of a cutesy little fun little song. And I've done songs where I swapped the voices out to sound like female singers. And I was like, is there a way to make it sound like an old school duet group from back in the day? And so I think I got close. So this is a song called A Silent Night. You let me know.
Let's do it. Lost Hits Radio, everybody, the Christmas edition.
'Twas the night before Christmas, went all through the house. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. It was silent night, it was a holy night. All was calm and all was bright. Brown young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. And children were nestled all snug in their beds while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. It was silent night, it was a holy night. All was calm and all was bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. We've come to bring you joy, we've come to bring you cheer. It's the happy
That was A Silent Night. So how'd you come up with this song?
Yeah, that is so obviously like those lyrics. I didn't write those lyrics specifically because that's the poem, The Night Before Christmas, and then a little bit of Silent Night mixed together. It was one that I got younger kids, so the night before Christmas, and all through our house, not a creature. So like, that Christmas poem is something you kind of come across this time this time of year with the little ones, and the Silent Night. I mean, Silent Night is one of my favorite songs of all time. Classic Christmas tune, lyrics in the public domain. So I was like, I can merge those together into something kind of fun. And that's kind of where it landed.
Wow, this is really something. Is there anything that we missed that I didn't talk about on any of this?
No, not at all. I just want to thank you again for coming on, for letting me come on in and kind of to talk about my hobby
You're
here
welcome
and
here
something I love
anytime
to
at
do. And this is why I love WRMN. This is a station that cares about what's going on locally. And thank you again, Dino, for having me in.
Well, we're glad to have you, Michael. And keep calling him Michael. Well, that's his name. But he's Patti when he's performing, and he's Patti when he's got the Lost Hits Radio. So he's got Volume 1, Lost Hits Radio, regular type songs. That last one kind of sounded like the McGuire Sisters. What's the other ones?
Just that classic
Yeah.
duet girl duet
Yeah.
vibe from the olden days.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. So you've been listening right here, live, Lost Hits Radio in Studio 14, WRMN 1410, Dino's Night Out. And when we come back, we're going to have Ken Hundley. He's going to come back again, and we're going to talk some more sports stuff maybe with him. Thank you, Michael. God
you,
bless
Dino.
you, brother. I really appreciate this. What a vibe. Love it. WRMN, folks, 1410, and we are going to be back in a few short moments.
Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410. Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's
Hey, we are
Dino's
back. You're
Night
listening
Out.
to WRMN 1410. We are live in the studio, right here in Studio 14. And my next guest is going to be joining us. We just had a great one, Patti, with the Lost Hits Radio. My gosh, those were all his lyrics he created, except for that last little Christmas one, the holiday cheer one. But nonetheless, these are songs that he has put together, and he has put it through with that AI. It's songs that you thought you heard of because it has yesterday's vibes, but today's lyrics and words. He made a beautiful one, like a tribute to his parents, and I'm sounding like a broken record, but it says, "Happy to be getting old." And that was just a little something that he did in remembrance of like his parents, and that'll be timeless. That is in stone. In fact, it's in vinyl because he's got two out. He's got one out, which is his regular hits, and then he did a Christmas medley as well that we played on Thanksgiving Day. We had it right here, Thanksgiving Day, and it was great. Whole hour of uninterrupted songs. So that being said, we have a guy that's he's been here before, and I'm glad to have him here again. He never runs out of things to say because he's a very interesting innovator. He's just a good guy. His name is Ken Hundley. Say hi to everybody. Ken, you're on the mic now. Get a little
Hey,
closer to the
everybody.
microphone. Yeah, get a little closer for us. There you go. All right. So today we're going to do a little bit of talking about baseball. Is that what you told me?
Yeah. So I got into about in the mid '80s. I stopped my acting thing in LA, and I decided I was going to start making some weightlifting equipment. So I did that, and I did weightlifting equipment for a little while, and then I got into the movement-specific training equipment. And this was basically because I wanted to be a better golfer, and the golf lessons were not working for me. The golf instructors knew what I should be doing, and it made sense what they were saying, but they had no clue how to teach me.
Yeah.
So they were selling me the what, but what I needed was the how. They didn't have it. I didn't know it at the time, but to become a PGA golf instructor, all you have to do is play 2 rounds of golf in one day. If you average 76 over those 2 days, over those 2 rounds, you're a PGA golf instructor.
Wow.
You're an expert.
Hmm.
So the PGA doesn't help these. They're all making up their own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So because I was an inventor, I decided, okay, I've got to approach this from a different angle. I'm going to look at what some pro athletes, pro baseball players are doing. Actually, I was looking at pro golfers. So I looked at.
Well, you got an advantage too because your brother is Randy from the Chicago
yeah,
Cubs.
and that, you know what, that
one of the
helps.
greatest catchers.
You know, it helps. Helps having that. So how I got into it was I made the golf machine first. I did well with that in Japan. I sold boxcars of these machines in Japan, and then in '93 I sold my first batting emulator, which is basically a weightlifting machine for hitting, to the Cubs. The Cubs manager came into my office in Phoenix and said, "I got to have this." He bought it, takes it back to Chicago, and I don't hear from him until the end of the year. And at the end of the year, he came into my office and said, "I want to help you sell this machine." And I'm thinking, "Wow, that's great." So how'd you do it? So do you have that website up? Is that
I have it up, and you wanted to play the one video.
Yeah. So let's look at the video on the left first. That just shows you the equipment that I have, and then we'll talk about the interview with Sammy Sosa and Todd after that.
All right. So here we go. Hold on for just a minute. Let me make sure I get it up right.
So this is a facility that I have in Mount Prospect, and I started in March. And I got to be honest with you, it's been the worst thing I've done so far.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah, that one on the left. So you see that guy with the batting machine? And here's a throwing machine. Can you move that screen over, just move it to the right a little bit?
I'm trying to get there for you,
Okay.
and it's not cooperating.
So what you can do is pause on that throwing machine. Just pause right there for a second. All right. So the guy who's on the batting machine there, I was in Atlanta in about 2007. And I go to a batting cage to try and get some high school kids to come over. I want to show them what I've got. I'm going to let them use the equipment for free. And none of them would talk to me. They all had their own trainers. And all their trainers were saying, "Don't work with anybody else." This guy that you just saw on the batting machine, he was there also, and I knew he was in high school, but I said, "Are you playing any ball?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "What kind of ball are you playing?" He said, "I'm playing a semi-pro ball, and I go to Chicago every summer to play." So he was coming up here from Atlanta to play. And I said, "Well, do you want to play professional baseball?" He said, "Well, of course." I said, well, Eric, you don't have the mentality for this. You are very happy where you are, right?" He says, "I love it." I said, "Well, a guy in the major leagues would be very uncomfortable doing what you're doing, and the difference is their mindset is completely different than yours. Their mindset is, no, I've got to be at the top of this game, and that's where I'm going to gear myself to go. You're happy here, and it actually affects your performance." I says, and I showed him my machine, showed him a video of my machine. I said, "Do you want to come and train on this stuff? Just come and check it out." So he comes over to the facility. He says, "I like this." I said, "I'm going to let you train on this for free. And in 4 months, I'm going to make you as strong as any major league outfielder throwing and hitting." And he kind of looks at me kind of cross-eyed. I said, "Yeah, I get that a lot, but you'll see." So the guy comes in religiously 5 days a week, and he comes in with the guy that's also on the throwing machine, and they're working out diligently. And about after 4 months, he comes in and he's got this strange look on his face. And I says, "What happened?" He says, "We just went to a football field to throw." It took me a second to figure out what he's doing. He's trying to see how far he's throwing the ball. I says, "Okay, so how far are you throwing the ball?" He says, "From end zone to end zone in one step." I said, "Eric, that's major league performance level there. A lot of guys playing major league ball can't throw the ball that far. Do you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to this head stuff?" He was not there. He still didn't understand the concept of having the right mentality. Comes in 2 weeks later, got the same look on his face. I says, "What happened?" He says, "I just hit a baseball 454 feet with a wooden bat." I said, "Do you see what I'm talking about?" He says, "Yes." And his body language changed. So here's what happened. I had to jack his performance level up in order for him to believe that he could do what he just proved he could do.
Right.
He did not. So if you're a baseball player, your own beliefs about what you're capable of have some limitations. Guys like my brother, no limitations. He's ADD. He's going after it all the time. Every minute of the day, he's thinking about baseball, even when he's not playing it. That's the kind of mentality you have to make it to the major leagues. Now, there's still a lot of guys who play pro baseball. They never make it to the major leagues. But at least, you know, they want to say that they play some pro baseball. I said, Eric, I told you I was going to get you here. Here's the problem. You're 24 years old. From baseball's perspective, you're too old to play minor league baseball. But at this level of performance you've got, you're going to be able to go somewhere and somebody's going to look at you. You know where the tryouts are. Show up at the tryouts. Just say, watch this. He went to 4 tryouts and the Houston Astros signed him on the spot. That's how good this equipment is. So it can take someone who's not at the top of their game and literally get them there just from training on this stuff diligently. And it's something that you don't have to be exceptional. I can take a mediocre baseball player, I can take a mediocre high school baseball player, and in 3 months I can make them good enough to get a scholarship to a large D1 college. So now let's pull up
But you don't want to do the pros because they don't want to have you there.
No, the pros don't. The ball players want it.
Yeah,
The owners do not want them to
don't
have
want
it.
it, yeah.
Because if they're doing as well as Sosa, everybody's going to get a raise. And so if anybody's out there listening, you know a pro baseball player that wants to make 5 times more money than he's currently making, you need to turn him onto this equipment.
All right, let's go back to the screen then. Give me 1 second here.
All right.
And let's get your.
So this was
board
going to
up.
be an
We'll replay the first one because I don't think we got it from the beginning. Go ahead.
Let's take a quick look at the different sports movements that you can train for here in the athlete's gym. Yeah, so that's Eric Suttle on the left there, and this is a 24-year-old guy got signed to a pro contract. That's me on the that's a combo emulator. That emulator right there does everything: batting, throwing, tennis, football, golf, anything you can throw, swing, or kick. This machine will take care of it for you. So there's a kicking application. Here's the golf application right here. Yeah. So this is at my training facility in Mount Prospect, and I thought by moving here, and I'm only about 2 blocks away from Prospect High School, I thought if I do that, I'll have a leg up. So yeah, let's get to that interview up right above. Yeah, get that out. So this is in 1997.
And I played with some pro athletes, pro golfers, and you look at them and they're 150 pounds, but they just blow it by you 50 yards. We're walking in there all muscular, so it's all time and it's all functional strength. It's muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory, and when you talk about that, there's a local Valley man who's come up with a machine that really ingrains muscle memory. He started out with a machine for baseball, and then he adapted one for golf, which Tiger Woods is using now. It's helped Sammy Sosa and dozens of other pro athletes. Steve Overmeyer has more. Every time he strides to the plate, you expect the best. Then you watch him deliver.
1 for 2, and he sends a rocket deep toward left. Back goes Mabry. At the track. At the wall. He's got it.
Sammy Sosa is having a year for the ages at the plate, but he didn't get there overnight.
What we did in spring training was kind of slow him down, get him back nice and early, and make him realize that when it goes over the fence, it still counts 1 home run, not 5 home runs.
In 1992, Sammy Sosa hit 8 home runs in his first year with the Cubs. That winter, he did an off-season workout program with a revolutionary new machine. He followed up with a 33 home run performance. That machine that he used was designed and marketed right here in Phoenix.
Keep your right elbow closer. Close. Good. Jim Lefevre is actually the guy responsible for bringing this machine to Sammy Sosa. Jim Lefevre is, to me, is a great batting technician. He's very much a physical kind of a coach.
How much did the Ken Hundley swing machine help your swing?
Hala, I think that everything you do, every day you come to the ballpark, and everything you think that I can help you, it will going to help you. Everything is right here mentally. But for you put a little bit extra to yourself.
Hundley's machine, the specific athletic movement emulator, imitates the perfect baseball swing, keeping the elbow up and teaching what the proper swing should feel like while strengthening the exact muscles.
There's a kind of false misconception about guys being at full extension when they hit a ball. Well, in reality, they aren't. They're power, the back arm, if you're right-handed, your right elbow is bent. It's not fully extended. Your left arm may be, but your right one isn't. And that's because that shorter lever has more power. Now, you get to full extension after you hit the ball. And it's kind of deceiving. Unless you see this in slow motion, one frame at a time, you always think that the battery's at full extension. Yes.
The emulator has also gotten help inside the family. Ken's nephew, New York Mets catcher Todd Huntley, has helped him refine the machine, focusing on its simplicity.
So what this machine does is to develop the legs, the core, the twisting muscles in the stomach area, and adds a lot of torque to your swing and bat speed to your swing, which is what we're looking for at this level, is bat speed and quickness.
Exactly how much has this machine helped? Well, as we said earlier, Sammy Sosa went from 8 homers to a true home run hitter in one season with the help of the emulator. The only other Cub to use it that year, Rick Wilkins, progressed from 7 to 30 taters. Huntley improved from his 15 homers to a whopping 41 in one season. And in case you think it's all just for the home run swing, check this out. John Olerud hit 294 in the 97 year, a league-leading 350 this year.
It's something that for a lot of high school and college kids, it can make or break your future career.
This innovative machine, designed here in Phoenix, can take batting to a whole new level. And while Sammy continues his assault on the Maris home run record, the next home run king could be any area high school kid with a leg up on the competition. Steve Overmeyer, 12 Sports Jam.
This just kind of lets you know how good this equipment is. The better the athlete you are, the faster this works.
Well, sure, because you have the discipline, and this, what it does is keeps you on the track or in the motion.
Absolutely does. And it's
So, like, what if you're, okay, so you've got this
So I have this training
stick.
facility. I call all the coaches up in the area.
Yeah.
They don't return my phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, send them emails. I send them a copy of this video. And in their defense, I'm kind of trying to put something on them that they don't want to have to deal with. From their perspective, oh no, here's another piece of equipment I've got to be responsible for. I got to train people on it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. The problem is they're not thinking about the performance of the athlete. They're just kind of trying to manage the team and do that kind of stuff. And this is just not up their alley. The training facilities that this should be in, they won't even talk to me. They won't even let me allow them to see the machine. They perceive this as something taken away from the programs that they put together. Everybody wants to sell their own ideas of what you should be doing.
Oh, sure.
And they see this as a competitive. They're not intelligent enough to see this as something to help them and help them make money. So a couple of days ago, I reached out to Triton College, and I had talked to their baseball coach here earlier in the year, and I invited him to come to my facility. He never showed up. So I called him up and said, hey, I'd like to donate a machine to your college. And I called the athletic director, and he answered the phone, and he was not very receptive. It seemed like I was interrupting him with something, and they aren't.
So I'm still lost on what's the hang up. I mean, even at college level, in high school level, why is there this resistance if you're going to make an athlete perform better? I mean,
that they don't really take that. They don't. Let's put it this way. I don't know exactly what's going through their heads. It could be all kinds of stuff. You never know. So I can't make up excuses for them. I will tell you what my experience has been. There's some guys who do not want anything or anybody to take credit for the athlete's performance but them, and they would say no. There's some guys who will say, you know what, I don't have the time to deal with it, and that is a legitimate concern. But I'm offering to give the machine away and train the athletes at the same time. That should take care of any excuse they have. What other reasons? Who knows? They just may want to be pushing their own program if they got a program. The bottom line is, if you're trying to help an athlete, you need to offer him as many different suggestions as possible.
as many tools that are out there.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you?
If some coach tells you or some trainer says, don't train with anybody else, you need to get away from that guy, because you're never going to be any better than he is. My approach is, there is no one tool that makes sense to everybody. You got to put a lot of tools in front of people and let them figure out what they like. It's no different than finding your vocation. You need to try a bunch of different stuff before you find out where you're getting the most endorphins from. Well, they're not doing that in this business. Now we've got this other problem. And the other problem is every 3 or 4 days, I'll see a new article in the newspaper talking about the trouble that our high school boys are in. And these are not kids from poor neighborhoods. These are middle-class kids. But it seems like they're spending a lot of their time playing video games, which is not a terrible thing to do, but they don't have any drive. They don't have an incentive to do anything. And they get kind of trapped into these. They'll spend some time on the internet, and they'll get trapped in these forums where there's a lot of toxic masculinity going on. Sure. And they're searching for their own identity, and these are the only people that are reaching out for them. They're trying to recruit them, basically. And it's a very confusing time. The girls are not wanting to deal with them at all. The girls don't want to date these guys. They don't want to marry them. Where the marriage rate is going way down, and it's not just because of this. But right now, I don't think these kids have a clue. Now, here's how a machine like this could affect a high school baseball player. All the high school kids who've been able to buy one of these machines, the least they got out of this was a full ride to a large D1 college. I'm talking Vanderbilt, USC, UCLA, that kind of a school.
Right.
That's the minimum they got out of it. On the high end of this, I still have clients who are still in the major leagues. One of the most recent clients I have is Tommy Pham. He played for the White Sox a few years ago. He's bought several of my machines. And this goes over the spectrum. But these kids are in trouble. They don't know that this, if you've got...
Well, when you say in trouble, what do you mean in trouble?
They're not able to look at something like this and say, wow, this might be interesting. Okay. They don't have the tools to make an assessment about this. When you don't have the tools to, if you're a baseball player and you don't have the tools to look at something and just look at it and say, well, I should check that out, especially if it's going to possibly get me a scholarship. Scholarships today at large D1 schools, they range between $250,000 to $400,000 for 4 years. Yeah. That's a lot of money you could save even if you're only going to play college baseball. But why wouldn't you take that opportunity to look into that to see if this is something? So I can't tell you what's going on. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm shocked by it as well.
So,
but you also have, I mean, just to put that same analogy, you got how many thousand of unemployed? You've got how many thousand that went to college to get a trade, okay? But they're not in that trade, so they elect to be unemployed instead of taking any countless amount of different jobs.
Yeah.
They won't even take any job.
And you know what? Back to this finding.
Work ethic is crazy today.
Well, I think I know what's happening there. We've been pushing a certain kind of education for decades, saying if you get a good education, you're going to get a good job. Well, but things have changed since that paradigm. Yeah. And the things that change is artificial intelligence. Computers are doing a lot more of the work than the humans. So if you had a job that a computer could do, you're probably going to be replaced by that computer. If you don't have the tools to pivot and either get into that business or go do something else, you're stuck at home. You're just another person on the unemployment list. Yeah. So I think we've got to reassess this college degree that you're talking about, because people have these degrees and they're starving. Nobody wants to hire them. They're not. I think you've got to think outside the box a little bit here. I've had 85 different vocations, but I have a very unique skill set. I can take something on immediately, and within a day, I can do it like I've been doing it for 20 years. Yeah. I'm very fortunate in that aspect. So I never had to worry about finding a job.
You know, a quick study, there was more quick studies in people like yourself before, because again, you have a little bit of an extra drive. You have the initiative to want to do it. You're blessed with that innovator gene.
Yeah,
so that's great. And not everybody has that. But you still have, back to what I was saying, it's all about the work ethic. Yeah. Okay. The work ethic has changed. Yeah. If they could take the shortcut and do it all through a computer, or they want to put a little work on it and feel the reward of what they've accomplished, that's gone to the wayside.
Yeah. I think this kind of employment environment is kind of forcing people to rethink what they're doing. Yeah. I know guys with MBAs that can't get jobs. I got a best friend in Los Angeles that used to be a producer and director and a writer for movies, and he can't get a job So I think if you don't have the ability to pivot and learn to get something new, I think we're all being forced to be entrepreneurs, whether we want to be or not. Now, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 23 years old. I've been working for myself ever since then. Been making my own stuff and selling it. I've sold my training machines all over the world. I've been in 14, 16 different countries. They're more receptive to this outside of the United States.
But you have that gift. You have that gift that you're able to see what it could do, the benefits that are there. But we're going to pick this up. You're going to stick around for the last half hour? Okay. Hey, we're listening to Ken Hundley, and he's here in the studio, Studio 14, with me at Dino's Night Out, right here, WRMN 1410 AM. And we're also on the YouTube, streaming live. You can catch us there.
Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
And we are back. We are talking with Ken Hundley. We're talking really all things sports. He's got these neat machines. He's got a machine that can enhance your golf swing, and he can also enhance your baseball swing. So, we're going to talk in a few moments about maybe somebody who knows someone in the high school area that would be able to make use of this machine. He's a 501c3. He's an innovator. He's invented more than these two machines, but he's done a lot of different sports equipment. But he wants to get the equipment to use. He's got a training facility, but he really just wants to get it in front of people. He's not trying to monetize on it as much as he wants to get it to the people to start using this and seeing the value of it. And I think the high school students we were talking about prior to the break could make good use of something like this. Put those computer games off to the side and get that interest back in the sports. So if we have anybody listening right now that would be able to make the connection and make the introduction to a high school athletic director, any AD in the area, Elgin, South Elgin, the Fox River Valley, Ken will travel any place. Ken's got the know-how. Ken has definitely got the ability. He's got great counsel. His brother was Randy Hundley, the famous catcher from the Chicago Cubs. But Ken does things on his own. He doesn't need his brother's name to carry him. And I know it's like, who am I throwing a shot at? Nobody, really. I'm just telling it like it is. Yeah. I mean, you're a standalone, self-made guy, and that's great. Your family is dynamic from what you were telling me before, your father and everything else, and your other brother. So that's neat that you have a talented family and you've got that gene in you, which one of these days we're going to talk about the genes, which is another great topic, but we're going to use that for another time. Yeah. Call 847-931-1410, 847-931-1410. If you want to text in a message, go to 505-926-1410. The text again is 505-926-1410. And, get us connected with somebody to utilize these machines. They're sitting there getting dust. I mean, I'm sure Ken gets on it every now and again, but he does it more for exercise. He wants to be able to share this skill, share this know-how, and, let somebody benefit from it.
Yeah, so I'm looking to donate a machine to not necessarily a team that's doing really well, but a team that could use some help. And I'm willing to train the athletes on it. I just need someone to say, hey, I need to take a look at this. If a high school kid uses this machine every day, and we're not talking about using heavy weights on this. This is not weightlifting equipment. If a high school kid used this every day for 3 months, they would pick up 50 to 75 extra feet of hitting distance. And this is not you coming out of your shoes swinging at the ball. This is without you using any additional effort. This is very unusual equipment. We're accustomed to seeing guys grunting and moaning to get stronger. This is the opposite. You won't even break a sweat when you're using this equipment. So people see the weights on it and think, oh no, I've got to.
So again, to reiterate, it's about technique. It's about making sure that this machine is made in such a way that you really can't swing wrong.
No, it's a sequence trainer. So if you take somebody who's a slap hitter, in other words, they're swinging with their arms only, this machine will allow them to do that. You've got to use your whole body on this machine. And if you're not doing it correctly, it's designed to fight you. So on the batting machine, I've got 4 times more resistance up here than I have down here. And what that does is it makes me use my lower body. It makes me use my core muscles. It forces me to do that. You can't talk that into someone, but you can make them feel this. And that's what this machine does. It'll give you the feel of what a professional baseball player is doing, what someone in the major leagues is doing. So probably in
Oh,
about...
we got a phone call. Hold on.
Sure.
You are on WRMN. Who do we got calling in?
Hi, this is Rita.
Hi, Rita.
I just have a suggestion.
Go ahead. We're all ears.
I feel you're approaching the wrong people. The people you need to be approaching is the parents of the children.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And when I go to these ball games, when I go to the ball games here in Chicago, half of the people in the stands are the grandparents because they're playing the games right after school because they don't have any lights. I've approached maybe 24 parents here and grandparents. No one has bothered to come over and call me or any of that stuff. They don't know what this can do because they've never been on it. So they're looking at it kind of skeptical, which you need a skeptical eye, but you also need a certain level of intelligence to see, hey, there's something here. There's something I need to at least check it out. I'm not expecting people to believe what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a wrong approach. But yeah, I can't even get the parents to come over just to check it out. It's just it's very frustrating. And this facility is going to be open for 3 months, and I'm going to close it. So I'm going to get. I can't and let me tell you about my experience in high school baseball. In my hometown, the weather's different. We don't have to start games at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. We have lights on the fields. But in Southern Virginia, at a high school baseball game, there would be 100 to 150 people at every baseball game. So it's not just the parents. When I go to games here, the only people watching the game are the parents and their grandparents. Illinois has dummied down baseball. It used to be that baseball was here and soccer was down here. Now they've switched. I think the switch is happening because baseball has become so expensive. People don't if you don't have the money to pay for travel baseball, you're not included. Well, the reality is if your son's good enough to play ball and he's better than anybody around him, he doesn't need to play travel ball. He doesn't need to be spending thousands of dollars a year traveling all over the country. The ball players and the parents have been sold this idea that, yeah, you need to be playing with other. That's a bunch of baloney. If you're good, Major League Baseball will find you. So I'm encouraging the parents who are spending thousands of dollars on travel teams and stuff like that to look at something like this instead, so that your kid does not. It's just draining the coffers. Now, a lot of kids' parents have the money. They like to do this travel. So it's not all about baseball for them. But for the kids who actually have some basic potential, if they come and get on this machine, it will light them up. And this is not something to take days and weeks and months. You get off this machine after 45 seconds, and you will feel another strength level. But you're right. The parents are the key, and I can't get to them. I've gone to high school meetings of the athletic, not the athletic, the organization that raises funds, like the booster clubs. I've done pitches at booster. Listen, I've got something here that's going to help your high school kids get scholarships to play baseball. Now, some of the ball players don't need that money, but for the ones who don't have the money, a college scholarship could save them $250,000 to $400,000. So yeah, you're right. So if you know any high school parents of baseball players, put them in touch with me. I'd be glad to talk to them.
What if you went to the next group of children that before they get into high school?
It's too young. They don't need this equipment. You got to be at least 13 to use this equipment. And here's why. This is not like gym equipment. Gym equipment, you're working out both sides of your body at the same time. With my equipment, you're working out pushing muscles on one side, pulling on the other. Can you see the top of my shoulders? Can you see how much higher this shoulder is than this one? That's from using my golf machine one-sided and not using it the other side. Teenagers' bodies are soft. Their growth plates are still growing. They have to do this right-handed and left-handed in order to
For balance.
keep a balance. That's right. You don't want them to looking like Quasimodo when they're standing over the plate. So their bodies are very, very pliable, but the good thing is they're at their peak when it comes to learning motor skills. This is the time you're supposed to be learning motor skills. Now, baseball is not the only sport that I have machines for. But it is, I'm so disappointed in the way that they give them baseball bats which dummy the bat down. They can't hit the ball 250 feet in the air. That's a very ego-depleting kind of a tool to give to somebody. It seems like the people that are making the rules here, they don't know anything about baseball. They don't play baseball. The last baseball game I went to, after the game, all the ball players had their heads down. They were depressed. There's no joy in playing this game. This is more like work. And when you're out there working it, your performance level is not as good. Now, I've worked with, Major League Baseball players. They know that playing while you're on the field is a key to unleashing your playful power. When you got to work, your body kind of tenses up. There's too much stress, and these kids are stressed out. We're not helping them. It's not fun for them. And my guess is for a lot of the parents, it's not either. The games are played. A lot of the parents don't even show up because they've got to work till 5 o'clock, and they've only let them play 7 innings. So the first 3 games I tried to go to, I was decided I'm just going to go to the last 2 innings, and I show up and the game's already over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
it's a very I would have thought that baseball would be the king here in Chicago, but evidently something has happened between then and now, and things have changed a lot, and that's why had I done my marketing research, I would realize, well, this is not a great thing to do here.
You got to come up with a soccer machine.
Well, I have a kicking machine for soccer or for football. If a goalie used my kicking machine, he would be able to kick a ball from one goal to the other in the air.
No.
Wow.
After using this for just 2 or 3 months. Same thing with the football player. Now, I did take a football machine to the Phoenix Cardinals in '93, the same year I sold a machine to the Cubs. And I went over to the trainer and I said, hey, and this is another problem I have. People who put themselves out there as a trainer, they want to try to act like they know everything about training, and they don't. So I go to the head trainer, and I said, can I show you some equipment about this kicking machine that's going to be able to help your field goal kicker? He says, no. I said, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be looking for stuff like that? He just shakes his head. I said, well, Bubba, I'm going over your head. So I went to the special teams coach, and this is a guy who trains the special teams kickers and stuff like that. He says, yeah, I want to see it, bring over. So I brought the machine over, showed it to him, showed it to the field goal kicker and the punter. I said, look, this is new. I know it's going to help them. You can see it's not strenuous. Use it for a month and see what happens. The field goal kicker used it for a week, and he kicked the longest field goal in the history of the franchise. His name was Craig Davis, and that was in '93. So how did the rest of the team respond? The field goal kicker called me up that Monday. Big write-up in Monday's paper about the field goal kicker breaking this record. So the field goal kicker calls me up and says, Ken, I can't use a machine anymore. I says, why? He says, the trainer says he's afraid I'm going to hurt myself. I said, oh, no, I forgot. I went over his head. All right, so the only way he's going to get back at me, and he's going to tell me to come get the machine. He said, oh, no, the field goal kicker, no, he told me to tell you. I said, oh, he doesn't have the courage to call me up and tell me. I said, but listen, you're still there. He's going to get back at you. You got to be careful. I've done this dance before. You got to watch your back because he will mess with you for doing this. And by Thursday of that week, there's a new article in the newspaper. Field goal kicker pulled the muscle in his thigh. The trainer overtrained him to get back at him. Wow. And that's their mentality. The trainers don't get paid a lot of money, so in those days, they made extra money by getting you hooked on steroids and stuff. Hey, such and such is taking your place on this injury. You're going to need a little extra help, and that's
Little
how
boost.
people. That's how people get on performance-enhancing drugs. Nobody who's healthy goes and does that. It's a trainer who says, "Okay, you're going to need some help," and he makes money from the guy who's selling the drugs, and he gives them to you. So that system is still alive and well. But you're right. The parents seem to be kind of not engaged in this. I don't think they really see the value of this. But the boys are struggling. They're just not. They just don't have the tools that we expect them to have. And my machines are not going to fix that. But if there's a ball player that loves playing baseball, I mean, if they come to my facility, I'll train them for free. But right now, I'm just kind of winding down my business and trying to find a good place for this batting emulator. So if you do you have any family members that are in high school that play baseball?
No, sir, I don't. A lot of my family members have passed on, but I just thought I would suggest my idea, hoping that it would help.
Yeah, well, you know what? It is a good idea. The problem is they're not very receptive on the other end. And when you have some new technology, sometimes people are intimidated by the technology, and they don't show up because they don't want to seem stupid, which is kind of a stupid mentality.
Yeah,
It's kind of
you know, none of us know everything.
That's right. Yeah, it included me too. So, you know, I'm where I am because I ask a lot of questions and I like to learn stuff. But not everybody is that way, and some people just want to hide their ignorance, and the way they keep from being embarrassed is not dealing with it altogether. So I run into a lot of that. So, a long time ago, when I first started off with the golf machine, I was showing my machine to a marketing guy in Southern California. And he told me something very interesting. He says, I used to be an inventor. I said, really? So why did you get into marketing? He says, because I realized a lot of people resented me from being an inventor. I said, okay, I'm getting some of this. What's that about? He says, well, everybody's going to ask you the question, did you invent this? And I says, okay. He says, but it's how they ask the question that tells you if they're with you or against you.
Yeah.
I said, okay, give me an example. He says, well, if they say, did you invent this? They're excited. They're on your side. They're going to try to help you. You've enlightened them. But if they say it like, did you invent this? You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because that guy is going to try to stop you in his tracks. I said, yeah, so what is that about? He says, you know what? A lot of people never meet inventors. And when they finally do meet an inventor, if you don't have an entourage around you and the guy you're talking to has some creativity issues, he's going to try and stop you. So that's
jealousy. It's all back to the same thing.
Yeah, that's
Politics and
95%
jealousy.
of the people
That's what
I
you
have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix that.
Well, we're going to keep trying because I tell you what, you have a great product here. You have your heart's in the right spot because you're wanting to teach the youth, and you could teach the youth a lot of things, but giving them a sport and giving them the ability to climb from the high school. You're wanting to get this into a high school.
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk with some of the athletic directors, like I had suggested. Rita, you make a good point. Get the parents. Maybe there's the Boosters Association with the parents that are active parents.
Yeah.
Not just boosters that develop the organization.
Yeah.
But you need to get, because I'm the wrong guy to talk sports. I don't know the first thing about it. But the common sense approach to this, to me, seems very basic and very logical. I think that anybody, whatever you're doing, you want to do it the best you possibly can. And if somebody has a tool, exercise equipment, whatever you want to call it, it's a tool. If someone has a tool that's going to enhance what you're doing and what you have a love for doing, but you have to love the sport.
Yeah, you really do.
That's the other thing. Do you have the excitement of the younger, young athletes today that there was?
No, and you know what?
That could be a bigger
lot of
problem
people
in
ask me
itself.
the question, what's the difference between an amateur and a pro athlete? I said, well, the pro athlete started very early and they had minimally ADD. If you don't have that, you're not going to be a professional athlete. That's very unusual for someone who doesn't have ADD to do that. And why is that important? Because they always feel the need to move. And if they've got a sport to help them move, they're getting endorphins from doing that. And when they're not doing that, they're looking for those endorphins.
Right.
Someone who doesn't, my brother had the drive, and that's, when I start meeting these major league ball players and start spending some time with them, they all had the drive. They wanted to play every inning. So I don't know if I told you this story, but in 1968, my brother broke the record for most games caught in one season. There's 162 games in a season. He caught 160. And I asked him, I says, what happened to those other 2 games? He says, I was in the hospital. I come out of the hospital. I go by the Wrigley Field to get something out of my locker, and Leo DeRocher sees me, the manager. He says, Randy, how you doing? Okay, Skip. Randy, how you feel? Yeah, I feel pretty good. Great, you're catching today. And Randy just walked out of the hospital. So back in the day, Leo, he would let you play as much, and those guys wanted to play every inning.
Everybody wanted to play.
Even if they were injured, and they would have done that. Today, it's like, I don't.
Again, you go to any profession. We talk about the first responders. Love of the job is what kept a lot of people there. They're having a hard time getting police and firemen. Look at athletes. If you could believe, having a hard time to get athletes to make multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, the jobs we had, you weren't making multi-million dollars.
No.
And
They did it because they loved it.
Right, and being pampered with the way they pamper a lot of athletes. Look what goes on in the colleges.
Yeah.
How they're coddled all the way through. If they're a halfway decent football
Sure.
player, they got all the tutors they need, all the free rides they need, everything.
Yeah, they're a little spoiled, and it's different. I thought this would be a more aggressive environment, and unfortunately, it's just the opposite. I'm not getting. So, if anyone is interested in the website for the training facility is athgym.com, and that's just an abbreviation for Athletes Gym. My facility is in Mount Prospect. I'm looking to donate a machine to a high school that is not doing so well. I could take a high school that's on the bottom and take them to the top if I've got everybody on that team using this equipment. That's how good this equipment is. And I don't expect you to believe me, but I hope that you're going to be intelligent enough to at least come and check this out.
And they can go see the videos that we played on here today. If you have any interest whatsoever, athgym.com, you'll be able to see the videos. You'll see that these are about technique. It's not about fitness. It's not making you Mr. Muscle. No. It's about getting you to move your body the right direction, the right way, so that you're able to master this form. It's all about form. Yeah. It's the right form that's going to make you either hit the golf ball, kick the right way. You have kicking machines, or baseball, have that right swing. Yeah. When you golf, you don't want the baseball swing.
No, you don't.
You want a totally different.
That's kind of where I got
different
into this.
Swing, right?
So this equipment is going to make you stronger without making your muscles bigger. It's a very unusual paradigm, but that's kind of what it does. And also, it eliminates the training. A lot of times when guys are lifting weights and stuff, they'll get an injury from lifting too much weights. You can't do that on this equipment. So it eliminates all of your training injuries that you would have for whatever your sport is.
Rita, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much for calling in. We're getting at the top. Here it is. Bye-bye, Rita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Ken, again, you got me sitting across the table from you talking sports. I never thought in a million years that I would ever be sitting talking about sports. I'm actually enjoying it. I actually like all that you've been teaching and all the stuff that you've been showing me. I thank you for that very much. We're going to get you back on. We're going to try and reach out to some of these athletic directors, and let's get these machines in the hands of the youth that could use it. Absolutely. Sound like a deal? We're not gonna give up on this. So, Hey, you've been listening to WRMN. Our second guest in the studio today was Ken Hundley. That's Randy Hundley's brother, and we're going to be seeing Randy pretty soon. We're going to do a live broadcast with Randy. Stay tuned, WRMN 1410. You have been listening to Dino's Night Out. Another episode right in the banks. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Dino.
Thank you, sir.